It is now my pleasure to be joined alongside the state champion girls lacrosse teams, a few players rather, from that girls lacrosse team. We have Gabby Walsh, Sarah Conley, and Caroline Walsh. Ladies, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
When did this year, is there a specific point for all of you or any of you, maybe they could be different, that stuck out to you that was like, okay, this year is different from any other year?
Well, I feel like, so we always, as you know, like last year's sectional state finals, we lost to Westwood, and we usually lose to either them or NDA in the playoffs. So I feel like when we were able to beat both of them during the season, I kind of thought we definitely would be able to make it farther than we usually have. And I don't know, I thought maybe like we could have won it all the way, but that definitely was a point that I thought we could probably make it all the way.
For me, all of us have been on the team for 4 years, and never in my career had I lost the first game of the season, which was kind of a downfall for us because none of us were used to that. Like, I think we came out thinking that the game was sort of in our hands, and it just got away from us. And again, with our loss to Garden City, which was definitely understandable, but and after that Concord, it was just kind of a weird year for us because those are all teams that we probably, and besides Garden City, that we probably thought we had in our hands. And I think that gave us kind of the fuel for the fire, and we were motivated after that first half of the season kind of to, push ourselves even farther, just because that wasn't really the team who we were. And I think that gave us the realization that we were a lot better than that and that we needed to all be giving 100%.
Yeah, I agree with both things they said. I also feel like she said, we've been here all 4 years, and we've just lost sort of the same round almost. And I think we just this is our last opportunity. We were all seniors. We just thought if we weren't going to do it this year, then we'd never be able to do it. And I feel like also the past year that Beth had was a tough one for her, and we dedicated our season to Joe, Beth's husband, and so we thought, we had to, we dedicated to him, we just had to win for her, and this is our last chance, so that also gave us a lot of motivation, I think.
I think you guys all hit it really on the head, just in terms of the start of the season, Sarah, where you said with, the Franklin and Concord Carlisle losses, even Garden City, and then Caroline mentioning, the year that Beth has had. Obviously, I think most people, especially that follow team, know what she's been through and have been there to support her. Was there anything, any kind of connection there to the early season in terms of you guys getting out of the gate? And you said, Sarah, that it could have been maybe just, okay, you thought you guys had the game in hand. Was it, a focus thing? Because sometimes there is a lot going on, I think in a situation like that, obviously there's a lot going through your mind and going through your head, maybe putting too much pressure. Was there anything like that, or not really?
Well, in the beginning, we kind of changed, some of the positioning from last year. Some of the girls, it was I don't know, one of the attackers was taking the draw, and we were switching it, so that might have had something to do with it. But yeah, I think a lot of it was that we kind of just thought, we kind of took it as an easy game and thought that we would be able to beat them.
Yeah, and I think just having a team of 12 seniors, I think that some of the underclassmen may have relied on the strength of some of our seniors and weren't playing to their best potentials. We had some really good offensive threats with Maeve and even Chloe on the defense and Callie Hem. So I think that some of their confidence didn't sprout until later in the season, just because we did have such an older team that sort of the pressure was more onto us and not them. So I think when we started, using all of our weapons, that's when we really came together as a team.
I'm going to quickly get to Coach O'Brien in a second, but first I want to ask, going through the playoffs, and I think you all kind of mentioned, getting to those rounds, whether it was the sectional semifinals or the finals, whether again against NDA or Westwood, it always kind of, unfortunately, the ball didn't bounce your way in those games in years past. This year, you guys set yourself up with that number one seed. Things just seemed to be different, I think, as the year obviously came to the tournament. And what was the biggest factor that maybe you would say got you over the hump in winning the South Sectional? I mean, obviously you guys didn't have to go through both Westwood and NDA, which I think is a help. You know, whoever was the number 1 seed in years past basically kind of had the easier road per se.
Exactly.
Was that the biggest factor, or was there something else also contributing to that at North?
I think that was a big part, but also I think our team this year didn't have like one player, like 1 or 2 players that were the big ones. We had like a bunch, like either it's like seniors or mostly the sophomores were, we had like a bunch of players and we all worked really well together as a team, and I think that really helped. So not like focusing on one player the whole season, and I think that was a big part of it.
And like you said, being on the left side of the bracket this year was definitely a key move, just because, you know, Westwood and NDA both were very strong teams this year. I think it was pretty equal between the 3 of us, but I just think it came down to fight, and in those last games, you know, who was fighting the hardest and who was playing their best, because, you know, we're also known as the best team in the state for a transition game, and a lot of times, you know, teams would try and stop that, and we couldn't get thrown off our game because we knew that was one of the most important parts that would push us over the edge. So we had to adjust what other teams threw at us and kind of keep just playing our game.
Yeah, I also think like what Gabby said before about us beating both NDA and Westwood in the regular season. Like we usually would beat one or lose the other or whatever. So I think that finally gave us like the confidence in like saying like we actually can beat them this year and like make it past that round that we always lose in. And just like also having so many different threats on the team, like everyone on the field could have gone a goal scorer, everyone on the field could have like, we're so versatile that we could have done anything, and I just think we are such an unselfish team and worked so well together, and that was a really big thing in our success.
That's one of the things I want to hit on now, because you all keep mentioning it throughout, I think, the different questions, is that there were a lot of different threats on the team. And you know, in years past, and you know, it's taking nothing away from teams that you guys have had in the past or any players that have come before you, but you've seen, I think, the evolution, especially this year, of this team, because there were a few games, I think it was the NDA game in the regular season, where it was 3 or 4 of you had 4 goals, I think it was, and then even in the playoffs as well, with the in the sectional final against NDA, with, you know, Maeve had 4 of your guys' first 5 goals, I think, and it was, we were sitting there announcing that like, okay, like, you know, they were shutting you down at the time, Sarah, but then, okay, you know, other players are there to step up, and then Caroline, you came out and scored 2 quick goals in that second half. Can you guys kind of describe maybe what that chemistry was like this year for you? Because there were, you know, as you said, 12 seniors, I think, right, this year, and not just that, but a lot of sophomores that contributed. You know, 2 important ones that come to mind a lot of times, at least in games we covered, were Maeve and Callie Hem. Caroline, I don't know if you want to start with that.
I don't know, I just think that like, yeah, like our starters were I think it was like half seniors, half sophomores, and I mean last year Maeve and Chloe were really like, they stepped up, they started, so they like had a little bit of experience, where this year, I don't know, I think just like over the summer they just improved so much, like Callie and Maeve and everyone, and then we had Eileen Manning, who just made the team this year and who started, and she just picked it up so well and act like she had been on the team like for multiple years. And I just think, I don't know, I feel like they just had the confidence, and they've just been, I don't know, they just like picked up so well. It was just so awesome to see.
I think that both of our defense and offense was so good this year. It was never, I mean, some games the defense had better games than the offense and kind of saved us, or vice versa, but I think that in years past that there's been a girl on the team or a certain person that we always looked for and kind of relied on, you know, in tough situations we would get the ball to her. And other teams would realize that and shut that down. And I think this year we just, you know, within a team full of seniors and even those strong sophomores, we all just kind of really clicked together, and no one was going out for the points. Like, no one cared about that. It was, you know, fighting for every ball out there, you know, every goal, like someone on or multiple people on the team were involved with. Like, it was never one player that really stood out. I mean, obviously we had games where some people, scored so many goals and other people, maybe not so much, but I think that as a whole that every goal that was scored, took every player in the offense that was involved. So I think that kind of gave us the best feeling in the end, knowing that every person was there, like, every step of the way.
I said it earlier, we were going to get to Beth eventually, and I think now is a good time because we mentioned that chemistry of the team, how you guys blended, and I think you already mentioned it a couple times that part of that could be obviously be kind of rallying for her and being like, okay, this kind of season dedicated to her and her husband and what she went through. What separates then Coach O'Brien from any other coach in the state? Because that was one thing that I noticed that kept coming up after the state championship one is everybody, especially obviously all the local reporters that cover lacrosse, kept saying they were so glad for Beth because she's one of I remember going to a practice last year to do a preview on you guys, and the same thing. She was just she's so friendly, she's so open, she's so welcoming. So everybody I think was just so happy for her that she finally got that state championship. What is there anything specific maybe that you guys can point out that separates her than any other coach in the state or than any other coach you've played for?
Well, I think she loves us like our daughters. She treats us like we are her daughters, and she cares for us so much and wants the best for us. And we just wanted to. She's never won a state title before, and we really wanted to do it for her and everything that's happened for her in the past. But we just wanted to get this for her so that she could, feel she's so proud of us, and we just wanted to do it for her.
And Beth's been in the program for 15 years now, I think it is. All of my sisters, we've all been through it, and I think that she's been an awesome coach every year. It's just the teams that we faced were, just as good, and it's just tough to be in the South Division and stuff like that. But Beth brings such a great energy to the team. She'll come from work. She gets up at 5 a.m. She comes from work after a whole day and comes to practice, and she's so energetic, and she has a whole practice plan for us. It's just amazing. She is so dedicated to the sport, and on game days we'd get texts before the game that would say something different every time, and I feel like I was closer with her as a friend and not just as a coach.
I just think we had to show her what we just had to do it for her and show her how much she's meant to us these past 4 years and just everything that she's done for us. It's just, yeah.
So playing throughout that tournament run that you guys had, going game by game, the first about 4 games or so were pretty much flawless. You know what I mean? Really the only kind of test I guess you can say that you had was that NDA game. And then leading up to the final, the state championship game against Longmeadow, they've been in, that was their 4th in 5 years. So also, same thing with you guys, obviously they're one of the perennial players there every single year. So I'm assuming you guys probably knew it was going to be a battle. Beth was probably gearing you guys up ready for a close game. When that final buzzer went off in the state championship game, what were the first thoughts and emotions going through your head? First state championship for the program in 15 years. Sarah, you said your sisters have been through there. They hadn't gotten a state title.
Yeah.
What emotions are going through your mind then, and maybe even still?
I don't know. It's mostly excitement and happy and knowing that everything we did for that season or the preseason was all worth it. All the sacrifices and hard work during practice. We knew it was all worth it just for that, and I don't know. I was mostly excited and happy during that.
Well, I think about it almost every day since then. It's just keep being that was one of the best days in my life. When I heard that whistle go off, I honestly had some tears of joy. It didn't really feel real in the moment. I was even Gabby said everything we've been working for that season, but even everything we've been working for since youth lacrosse. It starts when we are so young, and that's the highest you can get in high school. We couldn't go further than that. So it was quite a way to end the senior season, and I think I go around town like every day these days and I get 10 congratulations like in one day. Like I think just people were really excited for the program, especially since the last time was 2002.
Can you top that, Caroline?
Yeah. I mean, I just like the same thing that they said, like we finally did it. Like just like the past 15 years, no one has been able to do it. Like Sarah's sister, our sister has been through the program, and just like they've all been so close, and then like we were the ones who did it the year, like we were seniors, and just everything that we've done, it was just so like, it still doesn't really feel real. I mean, it was just like so amazing. I don't know, it was awesome.
When you look ahead to the future, obviously you guys are going off, and all three of you are actually going off to play lacrosse, right?
Yes.
So when you look ahead to the future, if there's one thing that you want people to kind of look back and remember this specific team for, the state championship team for, what would it be? Caroline, you can start.
Oh gosh. I don't know, I mean, like this certain year was just like, they've said how we just had so many different, like the whole team was just so amazing, and we played not just like, not selfish at all, not just one person, and we were able to do, like everyone was able to do anything, and I don't know, we all like loved each other so much, like sisters, and Beth loved us so much, and we were all just, I don't know, it was just, yeah, just like our teamwork and our chemistry, I guess, I don't know.
I'd say, well, before like every game, all the starters like would come in a huddle. Like I always brought us in before for a quick something, and it was mostly in playoffs that I was saying we can't like have any regrets leaving this field, just because any game that we played from the start at versus Duxbury, that it could have been the last, and any practices that we had before that could have been the last. Like I think that we just needed to fight, and we did make it to that state championship. That was the farthest we could, and from there it was who was going to leave a winner, and obviously it's a much better feeling to have left BU with the win. Coming back into Needham with the police escort, like it was just, nothing had felt that good, and it was really amazing actually.
I think like how they said, like the team chemistry, I think how we all worked together and we all played for each other and ourselves, and even like for coach, and I think that what the most important was just like all of us together. We played so like we just wanted to play for our team, and all of our chemistry was so good, and yeah.
All right, so that was all the questions I have, but I have to ask just one more question, because Sarah, you kind of hit it on it too with when you said you brought, you bring the girls together before when you go out there. I think we noticed it before, but I think especially we keyed in on it come to the playoffs. You had like a little kind of thing with Steffi Valak there right before the games.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like secret, or can you tell us what that was about?
Well, Steffi and I have played field hockey and lacrosse for many years together, and we made a handshake together that we started probably in our sophomore year, and we did it in fall in field hockey, in the spring in lacrosse, and it was just like this thing, like we both, the second we got out on the field, we both had to have our goggles on, and it was the same thing every time, but refs would always be like, oh, what's going on there? Like it was just funny, kind of like our good luck thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have anything specific or not? No, just.
I was on like the offensive side, and like Steffi and like me and Maeve would just like go off while they would do their handshake. But me and Gabby would like wear the opposite socks.
Oh yeah,
like,
but that's not like a
before game.
They both wear one black sock and one white sock.
Oh, there you go.
Stands out from the rest.
We did that like all 4 years of lacrosse, but that's not really I guess.
Well, congratulations again, the guys, on the state championship.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Once again, Caroline, Sarah, and Gabby, 3 state champions for girls lacrosse. They're heading out first time in 15 years in the program with the Needham's state championship.